Welcome back to Less Lethal Contingencies. Alan here. So, in continuing testing of my Beeman BP50 with the new HD24 rear ASA, I'm going to run it today in today's test plugged on 12 grams CO2. I have removed my tuning barrel 4-inch extension and put on the thread protector, the little cosmetic piece here. And this is going to be tested today in its concealed carry configuration, I guess we'll call it, right? Concealed carry configuration, as small as we can get it. Okay, so we have we have an Umerix HDP, or home defense pistol aluminum tuning barrel is what we're using here, minus the 4-inch extension. Okay, this tuning barrel was also opened up to be able to accept the 12.7 millimeter ammunition, 50 caliber ammunition. Okay, so whether that be AR Tactical 4-gram Joules, which are somewhere around 2.6 to 2.7 millimeters, and the large 8.3 gram 12.7 millimeter steel ball bearings. Okay, so I had opened up the barrel and using a barrel hone, and I opened it up until I was able to run that ammunition, that 12.7 ammunition down the barrel. Okay, so a little bit slight modification. This is a custom modification that I did to an HDP tuning barrel so that it would fit the BP50. However, today, many companies do offer tuning barrels specifically for the Beeman BP50. AR Tactical has their Home Defense 24 distributor. They do sell the Home Defense steel tuning barrel for the BP50. Okay, so if you don't have the skills necessary, or you're not kind of handy with doing modifications, then you could always buy that barrel. It's designed to be a drop-in fit. It's just a matter of pulling apart the clamshell and doing some screws and swapping out the barrel, which is pretty easy, the plastic barrel that comes in these. Okay, I did my modification prior to those barrels being available, but today we know those barrels are available. There's some other companies out there as well that are selling decent barrels for the BP50. I think Sterling sells 1 or 2 different options. Like I said, Home Defense 24 does, and I think East Coast Less Lethal may off. I know at one point they were offering an aluminum barrel. Pretty sure they still do over there, so you can always hit up Greg at East Coast Less Lethal and see or check his website out. Okay, so there's at least 3 places I can think of where you can get a barrel if you don't want to do a modification of an existing barrel like I did. So anyways, yeah, all right, just figured I'd unload on you with some information. It does come up in the comments here and there, where'd you get the barrel, blah 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 blah. So mine is just a modified one, but there are a couple companies that can get you hooked up with a better barrel than, certainly than the plastic one that these come with. Okay, yeah, so there's that. Okay, so I got the HD24 Tuning ASA on the back. I have a plug on it. Okay, so we can shoot it with CO2. What that provides is expansion of your CO2 into that ASA, which provides, it basically increases your chamber in here. Okay, which will increase your feet per second in power quite considerably. Okay, so we're going to start off, we're going to puncture this, and we're going to do a little comparison, okay, between the steel ball bearings, the heavy stuff, okay, and also AR Tactical's 4-gram. Okay, both of these ammos are pretty close to bore match to my barrel. The other day we got 52 joules with the tuning extension, but we got like 52 joules shooting the 4-gram AR Tactical ammo. Awesome, really good match for my barrel. So I'm going to put that up against what we get out of these steel ball bearings, the heavy ones. Yesterday we tested the lighter ball bearings. They were way too small at 12.2 millimeter. So a lot of that CO2, you could see it flying out of the gun. A lot of that CO2 was being wasted. It wasn't really going into driving that round because the round was just too small. Okay, and those were the smaller steel ball bearings, the 7.1 gram ammo, which you can get through Amazon. Somebody was asking me about that on the comments. You can get it on Amazon, the smaller. You should be able to get the 12.5 millimeter as well, which might be a nice happy medium depending on the size of your barrel. You can also order this ammunition through AliExpress. They have a lot of stuff like that. eBay may have some of the stuff, but definitely Amazon and AliExpress, where you can get the steel ball bearings in a couple different sizes. 12.2, 12.4, 12.5, and the real big stuff, 12.7. Okay, so anyways, let's get gassed up and let's start with real heavy stuff. Okay, again, the 4-inch tuning barrel's been removed, so this is kind of going to be a test of the Beeman BP50 in its everyday carry configuration with the additional power provided by the rear ASA. Okay, I have a UUQ, I think is what this is, optics, green dot optics on there, and I have a laser, simple, cheap economy laser, Amazon specials. Okay, that's what we'll be using for optics today. And let's go ahead and gas it up, unloaded. All right, nice puncture. Everything sounds quiet. Okay. All right, we got that. I'm gonna go ahead now. I'm expecting to probably get some magazine drops out of this. I'm still working through that issue, trying to figure out what it is, see if there's even a fix for it. But just to be aware, when you're shooting higher power on these or heavier ammo, the magazines do tend to want to pop loose kind of randomly. So it's good to keep your hand cupped. Okay. Not that you're holding the magazine in, just so that you can catch it, push it back up in there in between shots if you need to. All right, so we're going to start with the the 12.7 millimeter 8.3 heavy steel ball bearings. We'll start with those. I got 7 of them loaded up. All right, 8.3 gram steel ball bearings. And tuning barrel without the extension with the HD24 Tuning ASA plugged, 12 grams CO2. All right, shot 1. 296.2 feet per second. Shot 2. 285.9 feet per second. Shot 3. 282.9 feet per second. Shot 4. 278.7 feet per second. Shot 5. 272.8 feet per second. Shot 6. 265.2 feet per second. And the last one, shot 7. 259.9 feet per second. All right, so that was all 7 of the heavies. Okay. Now, so that's all 7 of those. And I probably still have some gas left in here. I think just to kind of mix it up, and actually, you know, I want this to be a good test. We're gonna, all right, so that's 7 of the heavy 8.3 gram steel ball bearings, the 12.7 millimeter bearings, okay? And we did get mag drops. The mag just kind of dropped a little bit in each, you know, I think, I don't know, like 50% of the time, you know, it was happening. I just kept pushing it back up after each shot. So that's going to be necessary if you're shooting high power with these until, I don't know, until someone figures out how to a workaround to correct that. I have tried numerous things and have not had any success. So, but that's kind of the trade-off with this gun. It's a very powerful 50 caliber marker now, but yeah, you got the mag drops is kind of it's Achilles heel, I guess you could say. All right, so we're gonna just go ahead and degas. That's what we're gonna do. Nothing frosty coming out, so we probably weren't going to get too many more shots off. But with 7 loaded, if you had one in the breech, definitely would have got 8 good strong shots out of this. So with the bigger ammo, you can't quite get 8 in the magazine, but you could drop one down the pipe, you know, and then throw the magazine in with 7, and no doubt you'd be able to get 8 shots off with a 12 gram. So no doubt that would work. All right, so we are going to, very nice puncture there. Okay. All right, we are going to take a warm or pocket warm, pocket temperature, the Omerix 12 gram. Okay, I'm going to stick that in there. We are going to put a couple drops of the Super Lube, the silicone oil. Not going to go crazy here, just a few drops on top of the cartridge as the manufacturer usually recommends, so that we can keep those O-rings, as I like to say, supple. Keep the O-rings lubricated, keep them from drying out, that sort of stuff. Keep everything properly lubricated in here, okay? Don't have to go crazy until the point where it's slinging oil out the barrel when you're shooting all over your cranny. I've done that plenty of times. But yeah, you do want to keep some lubrication in here. And, you know, if you shoot it on a regular basis, that's all you need. You don't need really any grease. I do use a silicone grease periodically when I do teardowns and for maintenance. But really, unless you're storing the marker, putting away, you don't shoot it often, you probably don't even need that. You know, you're probably just fine with a good quality silicone oil. Okay, and you do want to use silicone because it's holds up better to colder temperatures with the CO2. All right, so did not let the gun warm up. I guess we'll give it another minute or so to warm up a little bit, but didn't feel too bad actually in here. Really doesn't feel that cold. And I had a pocket warm CO2 that I just put in there. So I think we're all right to go ahead and proceed. So let me go ahead and air this up. Or gas it up, I should say. All right, let me gas it up. And we're going to shoot the AR Tactical 4 gram Joules. Again, these measure in at about 12.6, 12.65-ish, you know, almost 12.7. You know, between 12.6, 12.7 millimeters. Okay, so they're actually a really good, that's why I got great performance out of them the other day. They're really good, sized well, really good match to my barrel specifically. And if you want to see your best gains, you really need to match your ammo to your barrel as best as you can within, you know, 2/1000ths of an inch or so, I guess, is usually what the bore match is. Right, so let's go ahead and gas this up again, and then we'll shoot some of these 4 grams, and we'll see. We'll put up numbers and see if we can compare them to the heavy steel ball bearings. And again, that's without the tuning extension. Okay, so this is in its everyday carry configuration, as small as you can get it. I mean, obviously you can make it a little smaller if you remove this, but then you're going to lose a lot of power, right? So this would be the smallest configuration you're going to have it in. Okay. Now you're probably asking yourself, you know, what if I don't want a barrel? I want to use the plastic barreling, but I do want the rear ASA plugged. You know, I mean, you could do that, but the plastic barrels are garbage. I mean, they're garbage. You really want to invest in a better quality barrel. whether it be aluminum or even better, you know, whether it be steel. But the aluminum's just fine as well. You just, you know, you don't want to run that plastic barrel for too long. You'll notice too that it's small as well. The inside diameters of the plastic factory barrels very small. You're not going to shoot anything much bigger than 12.4 millimeter, I think. You know, the alien play, the solid aluminum, they're like 12.4. You know, that I think that's about the biggest round that I was able to get through. I have my my donor BP50 here, the yellow one. This has got the plastic barrel in it, and I think the largest ammo I could put in there was 12.4. I was able to shoot the smaller steel ball bearings out of this, because those being 12.2. So anything around 12.4 and smaller, you can shoot out of the stock plastic barrel. But like I said, it's just, you want a barrel. You want a better barrel. So trust me on that one. Trust me when I tell you that. All right, so we're going to be calling out the feet per second again on this. And again, we're going to be shooting the AR Tactical 4-gram Joules. Okay, these measure in, again, pretty close to 12.7, between 12.65, 12.7. Okay, so we'll call them 12.7. They're very comparable to the heavy steel ball bearings that I'm shooting, the 12.7s that we just shot. All right, so we'll see how the 4-gram hold up against the real heavy stuff. We'll see what's, and without the benefit of the extended barrel here, again, in its everyday carry configuration. Okay. All right, so we got 7 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll load 7. We're going to use the freestanding crowny so I can cup my hand under the mag in case the mag drops. All right, so here we go. 4-gram test, CO2, 12-gram CO2 in the handle. No tuning extension, tuning barrel minus the tuning extension. 4-gram ammo with the Home Defense 24 rear ASA plugged. All right, 4-gram ammo, shot 1. 418.6 feet per second, shot 2. 410.2 feet per second, shot 3. 402.6 feet per second, shot 4. 392.7 feet per second, shot 5. 382.3 feet per second, shot 6. 369 feet per second, shot 7, the last one. 360.1 feet per second. All right, that was some good shooting. My ears are just starting to ring. So this thing was ringing. I gotta say, this time without the extension on, the 4-inch tuning extension, the mag only dropped a little bit, and it only dropped once. I think it was the first shot. After that, the mag didn't drop. So, you know, maybe some of that longer barrel's playing into, you know, some additional back pressures or something with the heavier ammo. Of course, this was the 4-gram ammo as well. So what we're going to do now is we got some good numbers to compare to, well, you know, the heavy steel ball bearing, right? So we'll be able to put up numbers to compare, you know, the two ammunitions. However, I still have some gas left. And what I really would like to do, not so much for a power test, but what I really would like to do is shoot a magazine of, or as many as I can, of the alien play solid aluminum rounds. Okay, these again are like 12.4 millimeter. You can shoot them out of the factory plastic barrel. They do fit. These come in at 2.7 grams. Okay, so they're 12.4 is the size of the ammo, the aluminum alien play, but they're 2.7 gram. Okay, so they're considerably lighter than what I just shot, the 4-gram. I want to see if this lighter ammo gives me any mag drop at all. Okay, because I suspect that the lighter under 4 grams, maybe we're not seeing mag drop issue with those, and it's good data anyway, so I want to check that out. We should still have enough gas to drive a couple of these, maybe all 7. Yeah, I got 7 of them in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So we got another magazine. So this will be a second mag out of the second CO2, right? And we're just gonna load them in there and see what we get. I mean, I'll call out the feet per second as well, and I'll probably include the joules once I edit the video later, just so that we have that data as well. But you know, it's not a fresh CO2. It's going to be the second mag on this CO2. So I just really, this test is more about, I want to see if this magazine drops at all. Okay. On this later stuff. I guessing, man, I don't think it's going to, but all right. So alien play, 2.7 gram, 12.4 millimeter sized ammo. This is going to be mag 2 with the alien play. Let's see what we get. Shot 1. 435 feet per second, and it didn't drop at all. Okay, shot number 2. 380.8 feet per second, no drop of the mag. Shot 3. 318.7, no problem there. Shot, oh, that's it. Not enough gas. Okay. All right. So I don't even know if that was really a good indication because the gas was dropping off so much anyways, but I'll have to test these with a fresh CO2 and test these. I mean, the alien play solid aluminum, see if, you know, maybe the mag doesn't drop on those. That'd be kind of a nice thing to have if it doesn't happen, because at least it's aluminum. It's better than shooting some real cheap light plastic, right? I mean, it still has some kinetic value to it. Of course, short range, you're not going to worry about accuracy so too bad with the later ammo, but at least it would still have some kind of kinetic energy behind it, being that it is metal, versus shooting, you know, having to use plastic ammunition or something. Okay, so you know, maybe that's another possibility too, is to use the aluminum in a home defense situation, since you know you're not shooting a long distance. You know, you're probably, you know, self-defense, you're talking under 14 feet for sure, maybe even 6 feet, right? You know, is distance is probably what you're defending against. You know, I'd say 16 to 14. Within that shorter distance, you're not going to really have to worry about lightweight ammo being too, you know, especially 2.7 gram. It'll probably be all right, I would think. All right, let's degas, check the puncture on the second one, but I think we got some really good strong numbers here, strong data. I'll put the number, you know, I'll put the feet, excuse me, I'll put the joules in the video like I always do. And yeah, I think we got another good puncture there as well. And that'll give us some data today on, you know, give us a little comparison. A little comparison of in our everyday carry configuration of the Beeman BP50, okay, with the not using the tuning extension, but yet you want that extra power, so you're still using your rear ASA plugged. Okay, so all right, thanks for watching. I'll be doing some more testing here shortly. I know I keep promising to do the 1050 and the 1100 HPA on this. I'm gonna be doing that shortly. However, I kind of paused a little bit because I also picked up something that came in the mail today for me that I had ordered, which is another expansion piece here to expand this out even more and gain more volume. Probably won't use it for CO2 comparison configuration, but with HPA and the stock, you know, it would give me it would more than double my capacity in here, expansion capacity for HPA. And we're gonna probably do some testing with that 8-inch long sniper tuning extension, right? Sniper barrel extension, I should say, that I picked up off of MCS. The one that I actually showcased on this marker a few months ago once, and also the one that I've been routinely using on my TR50, my Umarex TR50 build. So nice long 8-inch extension. You know, that's going to be something that I'm going to be testing shortly here as well. So stay tuned for more exciting testing here, right? More exciting videos. Anyways, I appreciate you. Feel free to leave a comment. Just keep the comments clean, guys, and yeah, we'll have more content coming here shortly. Thanks a lot for watching. Peace out.